Hey folks, welcome to a special episode of the Projection Booth. I'm your host, Mike White. On this episode, I am doing what they call a curtain raiser. I'm pulling back the curtain, telling you about the curtain raiser. It is exciting you. I am here to incite you and excite you with a curtain raiser mini podcast all about the Fantasia 2022 Film Festival. I'm going to be telling you about some great things that the festival has coming up, though I have yet to see any of these things. So hopefully they are great. Hopefully I don't have to eat my words later on. I am very excited to see these films. At the festival, they are showing Shin Ultraman. Big fan of Shin Godzilla, so I'm very curious to see Shin Ultraman. I grew up watching Ultraman, the one version of it. I didn't realize there were multiple versions and that it was such a long-running sci-fi series. I think it was the longest running sci-fi series in all of its incarnations for the longest time. Maybe it has been beaten out by Doctor Who, though I think you could say that it's not continuously running because of that big gap before the Ninth Doctor. Anyway, Shin Ultraman, excited to see that. I am curious to check out Rebecca McKendry's Glorious. Rebecca McKendry, you probably know that name. She was one of the three hosts on Shockwaves, a podcast that friend of the show, Elric Kane, was one of the co-hosts as well. Rebecca and I have talked a few times. She seems like a very nice person, and I'm very curious to see her new film. I am very excited to see Patrice Lecomte's Magritte, the famous detective, being played here by the one and only Gerard Depardieu, who I don't know if he's canceled or not. He always seems to avoid cancellation. He does outrageous things, but we just say, he's French. He can pee on an airplane. It's really okay. Or maybe not. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where we stand with Gerard Depardieu, but I still enjoy watching him, and I am very curious to see him in this version of Magritte, one of the classic detectives. I've seen him played by a bunch of other people, and curious to see him played by the one and only Mr. Depardieu. I am excited to announce that there is a documentary in the Fantasia 2022 Film Festival, which is directed or co-directed by the one and only Kat Ellinger. Very familiar voice to the folks that listen to the Projection Booth. She and Damon Ballin have come together and done a documentary about Jean Roland called Orchestrator of Storms, the Fantastic World of Jean Roland. And I think there's going to be a special episode of the Projection Booth coming out pretty soon where Kat and I and maybe Heather Drain look at a Jean Roland film. We've done that before on the show. We talked about Lips of Blood, and hopefully we'll be talking about another Roland film very soon. Another person that we've had on the show several times, usually as an interview subject though, is Alexander O. Philippe. He is the man who's been behind, a lot of great documentaries. I was actually in one, The People vs. George Lucas, but since then he has made even better stuff, and I am super excited to see his latest film, which is called Lynch Oz. And that is he does these kind of interesting, almost like mashups of similar ideas. And of course, if you're a Lynch fan, you know that he was very influenced by Wizard of Oz, of course, that runs all the way through Wild at Heart. So I'm very curious to see what Alexander does with this. So I'm very impatiently awaiting to see Lynch Oz. Another film that I want to see just based on the title alone is one by Luke Higginson, which is called Relax, I'm from the Future. I always enjoy a good time travel film. There's a few time travel films at the festival this year. That one I definitely want to check out. The festival is also just rife with amazing classic titles as well. They are showing things like Blue Sunshine, Deadly Spawn, Dr. Lamb, Harold and Maude, Heroic Trio, Action Mutante, Mercenaries from Hong Kong, Shriek of the Mutilated. They're showing 2 John Woo films on the big screen, Face Off and Hardboiled. They also have a whole series of films that is dedicated to Kayla Janice as a celebration of the latest publishing of House of Psychotic Women. And with that, they're going to have Kayla there, Bill Ackerman, who's been on the show quite a few times. He's going to be moderating the Q&A with Kayla as she discusses her work and also the importance of these films, things like In My Skin, I Like Bats, Identikit, Il Demonio, Footprints. You don't get much better than being able to see these films on the big screen and then hear Kayla and Bill talk about them. There's also going to be a queer genre cinema spotlight, which has a few films in it as well, including the film Hypochondriac, which I actually talked to the editor of the film, Mike Hugo, about that a few months ago. I will be sure to re-up that interview so you can find that easily. That will be running on the same page of projectionboothpodcast.com that this little curtain raiser is on. Also, I want to say that there's something going on with pickles and the Fantasia 2022 festival. They have 3 short films. There's one called Fried Pickles. There's one just called Pickle with Pickel. And there's also one called Pretty Pickle. And that last one, Pretty Pickle, directed by friend of the show, Jim Vendiola. He's been on a couple episodes, even on our 500th episode where we talked about Duke of Burgundy. Don't usually watch a whole lot of short films when I go to festivals, but I am going to be checking out Pretty Pickle. That's for darn sure. I also wanted to see a movie called Bodies, 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 but then I read that Pete Davidson was in it, so lost interest. But you might still be interested in that, as well as a lot of other great things that are going on at the festival. To find out everything that's playing at the festival this year, be sure to visit fantasiafestival.com. You can see all of the movies listed out there. You can find out more about tickets. You can learn more about how things are going to be screened, because this festival goes on for a while. This is not just a you're in, you're out, one weekend kind of thing. I attended the festival a long time ago, and that was the thing that really just kind of knocked my socks off. This year, it's running from July 14th all the way up to August 3rd. So yeah, go ahead, take a couple weeks off. Take the month off of work, pretend that you're a European. Go on up to Montreal and check this out. It is going to be one heck of a fest. Well, that's all the news I've got for you right now. Be sure to stop by the website, projectionboothpodcast.com, where you can find out more about the festival, see some previews, get some links. Thanks for listening, and I am excited to bring you news of Fantasia over the next few weeks.
Holding a pickle, it reads my mind. It has the crunching sound